about video games in a little bit. All right, we will talk about video games in a little bit. Okay, like I said, I can't be on too long, but I did want to discuss this mammoth of a player, I guess. So I've had a few people, it hasn't been crazy, I've had a few people ask me what my overall thoughts were of Donovan Clingan, and gosh, man, it's not really much I can say, right? Like, I don't think that there's a lot of nuance to his game. I don't think there's a lot of intricacies of what we can really discuss when it comes to him. I'll just give you my overall thoughts, pros, cons, get on out of here. We'll also look at, we can look at, actually, let me look it up right now. We'll do scouting live, pros and cons of Clingan as well, because I think that's fine to do. All right, so I brought it up, not looking at it. Let me jump over back to the stats. If I can find the stats. Where the heck did I put the stats? There we go. So overall, if you're just looking at his stats, so 13 points per game, 0.8 turnovers, 2 personal fouls a game, 2.5 blocks, 1.5 assists, 7.4 rebounds, 58% from free throw percentage, 25% 3-point percentage, but he didn't take any, so it doesn't really count. And this is probably a last minute heave. I don't quite know what happened there, honestly. 63.9% field goal percentage. So just go over it really quick. So pros, you know, from a Spurs fan perspective, we do need someone that can back up Wemby, right? Like, defensively, the Spurs are pretty horrid when Wemby isn't on the court. Not only from the backcourt perspective, but also front court. There's no excuse on why the Spurs should have such terrible defense and be one of the worst defensive teams in the league when Wemby's off the court. But when he's on the court, we're like top 5. That should not happen. Yes, it shows how great Wemby is, but it also shows how bad our team is without Wemby. So obviously we need a backup center, a backup big man. I've said many of times, I don't know if I would spend a lottery pick on a big man. I just don't, especially in this class. There's no one that just stands out where I would do that. Now, if we're talking Alex Sarr, all right, I'm with you. I understand that, right? But if we're talking 4th or 8th, why not just get you a defensive wing? You know, why not, if you want to try, you know, take a shot at Dilly, if that's what you want to do, you know, you can do that. There's many different things that you can do and fill different positions. I feel like this type of player you can find in free agency. Now, with that being said, pros, defense. He is a shot blocker. For his size, even though he is a hefty fellow, nearly 300 pounds, he gets around pretty decently well, right? I think that he's going to have to lose probably a few pounds, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But overall, on the positive end of things, he is pretty quick on his feet for that size, and he definitely has, not to the same extent, okay? So don't call me crazy here, but he has the Wemby effect, as in a lot of college players, when they're going to the paint, they thought twice, right? They will pass out, they would try to get away from him, and they would have to scheme around him being there, right? So not a lot of players would try him, and they will pass out of the paint quite often. So he does have that type of effect. He will block you, and he's really great at defending pick and rolls as well. So he, as a big man, I think he's really great on the defensive end. You know, and nowadays you have these big men that can guard power forwards and sometimes small forwards and wings if you're really lucky, like the San Antonio Spurs are. But you know, he's not one of those guys. He's mostly just going to be guarding a big man. Now, obviously, it is important for big men to be able to guard point guards, shooting guards on occasion. You know, occasion of switches here and there. I don't know if he's good enough there vertically or laterally. That's what I meant to say, for him to be able to do that. But you know, as it stands, he is what he is as far as defensive presence in the paint. He's also good when it comes to pick and rolls and finishing at the rim. You throw it up to him. He has a little bit of a takeoff. All right, he got a little bit of lift to him that you wouldn't expect. He got a little bit of bounce that you wouldn't expect from the way that he moves around sometimes. So those are all positives. Now the cons, and the reason why I personally think maybe he gonna have to lose just like a few more pounds, is because he's already had some injuries in which he will be gone for weeks at a time. I think it was a right foot injury in particular that he was dealing with quite often. And with someone at his size, and yes, be real, he doesn't have the amount of flexibility as somebody like Wemby, right? Where people are like, big man's always no. This would be the stereotype. This would be the one that really struggles to stay in games because of injuries, because he's so hefty, because of the way that he moves, and he doesn't have a lot of wiggle to his game. So that's one thing that I'm definitely worried about on the cons end of things. Also, people say that he has pretty good finishing. I didn't really feel that way. I feel like a lot of his points that he got were set up for him. Whenever you're relying on him, it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. And what kind of makes me really nervous is it's okay for, not every big man has to have the versatility to shoot 3-point shots, right? Or outside shots. That doesn't really bother me that much. But what does irk me is this free throw percentage. Now, it did go up from his first year to second year by 7%. But man, 58 is just, that's bad. I mean, that's really bad. And it kind of shows that he doesn't have a ton of touch. So that's one thing that worries me. Just don't think that it'll be worth it if the Spurs, think about getting a backup center to Wemby. It would have to be a lot of moves prior to that before I would say, oh yeah, that would be a good pick at 8. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We'll take a look here. Let's see, where do they have him on the mock right now? I know he'll be higher than, let's see, he'll landed on 16. Let's scroll up. I know he'll be higher than that. Where do they have him? Right now they have him above Holland. They have him above Devin Carter. Okay, so right now they got him at 7, which I think the Trailblazers would actually be a good fit for him. But yeah, I don't know. Pro comparisons, Roy Hibbert. That is actually a really good comparison, honestly. Really good comparison. But you guys keep in mind, I'm not the biggest believer of this, archetype. I feel like this type of archetype, you don't have to use a valuable lottery pick to get that. I think that you can manage to get it in free agency. And it's important. It's important. And the role that he would run, it's important. It's very important to have guys like this. Just feel like you could wait and get it somewhere else. Clan, were you able to get the Wemby GT hustles? Are you engaged in this conversation? And no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't looking for him either. Let's be real. I wasn't looking for it. All right, let's look at the pros and cons. All right, here we go. Pros, strong finisher around the basket. Yep, like I said, he got a little bit of lift that you would not expect, and great as far as teammates setting him up. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. Adequate low post scorer. Adequate's a good adjective there. He's adequate, right? That just means he's okay, Decent playmaker for his size. Yeah, I wonder. See, this is one thing that I'm worried about, right? While this is accurate, yeah, he made some pretty good reads. I wonder if that's him, or if that, because they were pretty simple reads, or if it's just that UConn is that good as far as how they run their offense. It's that good. That's one thing that worries me a little bit. It wasn't a lot of, I don't know. He was quick to find his teammates. He was quick to find open guys. But a lot of it just came down to, gosh, they were a well-oiled machine. And that kind of opened things up for him, made it much easier for him. That's all I'm trying to say. In the NBA, you might not be able to make those passes that he made. Solid rebounder, sure. What was it? 7.4? Yeah. Very good defender, yes. Great shot blocker, yes. Above average athlete, yes, especially for his size. Has good strength, yes. Solid motor, yes. Cons, must extend his shooting range, most definitely. Needs to improve his face-up game, most definitely. That comes back to that creation. Must expand upon his low post moves, Yes. Can be too passive on offense. Okay, I can't attest to this. I personally didn't see that. Maybe it was, quite a few games I missed with that. I haven't seen that. Can struggle to guard quicker players. Can struggle against length. And that's what I was talking about earlier as well, right? Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier as well. Like, I don't know how this will go if he's switched on a point guard or shooting guard in the NBA. I think that's easy. And modern centers, you gotta hang in there somewhat, right? You're not gonna be able to guard, Luka straight up, but you gotta hang in there at times. Can struggle against length and athleticism. That's not good. Lacks elite lateral quickness. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's funny. I literally just said that. Yeah, we literally just said that. Donovan Clingan is a strong physical center that can make plays to help his team on the interior. He's played well as a per-minute big man on a very good Connecticut team, but he will need to improve his mobility, shooting range, and he will need to show that he can defend quicker players in a faster-paced environment. Currently, he projects to be first-round prospect 2024 draft. So yeah, he'll. I think a lot of his worries will, go out the window if he does lose a few pounds. I hate for him to lose that frame, that strong frame, but maybe lose a few pounds just so he can stay in games, remain healthy, and also work on his lateral quickness a little bit. But yeah, you said Kling is no good for the Spurs. Yeah, I'm not big on Donovan Clingan myself, guys. Why are we talking about Clingan? Oh, we're going over basically all the prospects, right? Or at least a big chunk of them. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know either. You're probably talking about something else, but good stuff. Good stuff.